Babe, I need you to do me a favour. Can you spot any brickworks in a moment? I'll show you where. Or any parts of old sleepers and stuff, because my wife spots things that I don't even see. I'm gonna find out the exact names of these things. They have all got different part names. I know that. So why is this significant? Well, we've been down here before, we've walked along here before, and I told you somewhere around here there was railway lines, and I wasn't sure where it was. This is the new superstore. This is the building where the superstore is now, on Lowmore Road. Right here where we are now, this piece of land here, down here, literally along here, there was railway lines. These were the sidings that went along here and stretched all the way down there. And at the back of there, where we will go and see later, more or less where we end our video today, is where the engine sheds were on Lowmore Road. So, why is this significant? Well, it's significant because the Midland Railway line cut through here from that direction. So it came from Southwell Lane, which we'll show you in a bit, came all the way down here, exactly where we are. There's my wife with me today. Hello. And it went in this direction to the station where we're going to show you in a minute. And this along here, on this side of the fence, sorry, on that side of the fence where you can see a tractor there, all that along here, literally this bit of land here, is where the sidings went, all the way down here. And I've often wondered where they went exactly. We can't get in there, but I'm letting you know exactly the piece of land where it went. So where this green bit is, more or less, they might have cut some back. Right here came the railway line to the end where there was a factory that belonged to the Mercer family, who we know we're good friends with Nigel and his brother. They had a factory at the end of what was called Factory Road, which has changed names now, but it was called like that, and that is where Kirkby Station was as well. So, we're not too sure entirely what this piece of wall is here. However, it was something to do with the railway line, because the railway line came literally down here, the sidings were here, and then the railway, the other one, the Midland Railway, which I was talking to you about a minute ago, came somewhere in the middle of this building, because this building wasn't there. And around this corner somewhere where we are now was a signal box as well, or a signal post. Actually, it could have been a signal post, but it was around this area here, right underneath, just to confirm. Obviously the railway didn't go round the corner, it literally went straight through the building. Obviously the building wasn't there, but just to get a perspective, it went straight through there and out the other side, which we'll show you in a minute. Right here where we are now, where this green part is is where the sidings were. There was many different railways here that linked up together, and they linked up to the station, which I'll show you in a second, which was down there. So imagine right here, across on that side, there were sidings. There was quite a few different railway lines that cut through more or less where the centre is today, and came out around where we are now. This grass part is more or less the trajectory of where the railway lines went, and they cut across where you can see a little bit of green on that side. Not only that, one railway line ended halfway down here where there's a fence, and the other lines went straight through to the station where the Kirkby station was, just over there. But this area here where the green is here was the end of one line that ended around here somewhere, and then there was another line obviously, and a few lines that went to where the station was. Behind there, it's got St. Gallen out of all names. My mum was from East Switzerland. She was from the city St. Gallen. It's quite peculiar. It's a factory there with that name. But it's hard to think and imagine that here the railways came through. Over this area here, where the car park is. Literally right here. And the train station was just over there. So, yeah, literally here. You who remember the history will remember the spot where the train station was. But literally behind this car park, in this piece of land here. And this was the spot, the exact spot where Kirkby station was, just around here. And as I've just stated, along here, this part of land here, around there, is where the station was. And of course, the railway line that ended here, that's fine. But the actual one from the station carried on down towards Kingsway Park, where we've been in the past. And we've been here before. We've gone down Linders Avenue, we've gone down into the quarries, but I never knew exactly where the actual station was. And it was right here, in this piece of land on the right hand side, literally right here. There was a crossing here, more or less where we are now, right here. When I say a crossing, it was a flat crossing for the train to go across, literally down here and across that way, down towards the quarries. And there was a bridge over here, over the top, where we can see on old photos. So now what we're going to do, well, we're going to go now near Aldi, where there was a cinema, and there was, of course, the old railway pub, Railway Inn pub. They've taken down the trees. Yeah, it's completely flattened now, that area there, as you all know. Another link here with railway lines in the past. Is that going to be a McDonald's? We don't know. Before I forget, guys, I don't know if you knew this, but obviously around here was a cinema. That's one thing to remind you all about. But here was a little quarry, and I've always wondered what this bit of wall here is. And it would have been around here, probably dug underneath here. But right here, there was a little quarry. Right, I've changed clothes because it's quite warm. We're in March. not far from Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, by the way, to any mothers, grandmothers, sisters, whatever, out there. It's quite warm, so I've taken my coat off because I'm too warm, and I've taken my normal hat off and put my forest one on because it is warmer than I thought. We're going to go past again the bit that's flat now, where they're going to do a McDonald's, and we're also going to show you where the Railway Inn pub used to be. I'm going to go past the new cafe as well, the Evergreen New Cafe. That's the old gate that was there. And that whole area here is going to be a 24-hour drive through McDonald's. It's mad to think that, and a lot of people have been moaning because of traffic and whatnot. But I believe they're going to spend some money and put in a new kind of crossing here. An actual crossing, not one of these kind of ones. So I believe they're going to put some traffic lights here. Evergreen's Cafe. Let's go and talk about that while we're here. It's re-owned again, new owners here, and it's gone back to its original name of Evergreen's Cafe. Hello. Which is really good, and they've got meals on different days, different things they're doing. I hope it doesn't annoy them when McDonald's does come here, but it's good, always good to have a bit of like a competition in that area, you know what I mean? But yeah, the cafe is still going strong as ever, as I said. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you didn't know, yeah, bingo Monday afternoons from 11:30, and I believe it's £5 for a ticket book. Right, let's carry on then. Do you remember this sign, people? It's still incorrect. Library that way, that is correct. But Kingsway Park is not that way. It's definitely not that way. So that's the site around here where they're doing something else as well, but that was the original site of the Railway Inn pub. So we're cutting through onto the old land, which last time I come I didn't know what was there exactly, and I used to do videos where we just look and find things, and then quite a few people commented about I should do research on the area before I go, and that's what I've done. So we cut through the new estate, and there's like a little jitty way where you can walk through into that part of the land where I thought was part of the colliery, but it wasn't. It's where the brickworks were. That's where Doctors is, which used to be a hospital. And here's the cut through. Yeah, there is a cut through because I've seen. So right, this bit of land here, guys, this is where it starts getting a bit complicated, and a good job I did my research. This bit of land here, which I thought was part of the colliery, is, or was, an area where there was brickworks and a lot of different railways. It's a little bit muddy on that side. It's used a lot by dog walkers nowadays, and yeah, down there on that side was where the sidings were, where I showed you yesterday. We're going to bear off left today to start this video, because to start this video in this area, because down here to the left hand side, as you go further up, was the end of some of the railway lines that came from Summit Pit Colliery, Kirkby Colliery. We don't need to go up there, which I have been in the past. We're going to stay on this route, and then I'm going to show you where the end of some of the lines were. I say the end because they were coming from the pits, from the colliery, and they were coming down onto that piece of land where we're going to show you in a minute. But there was many lines, too many to follow all of them, put it that way. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you where they were, or where they ended, more or less, the location, show you in what direction they went, and then we're going to follow one of them. We're going to follow one of the mineral lines one of the coal mine lines, and we're going to follow it across the field where the works were into the colliery site, which is now, there's a garage and some other things there. There's like the wheel, the memorial wheel for the mining heritage and all that. And we're just going to show you more or less where some buildings were in the past and where the mineral line went. And after that, we're going to come back on ourselves and go down the Great Northern Railway track bed, which there still is a bit of line there. Oh, there's a way through here, but we didn't know that. So there's another way through down there. That's good to know. And just behind there, guys, is where the active Robin Hood line is now, which was the Great Northern Railway. Last time I was here, I come here with our son JJ, who was throwing sticks everywhere because he's got special needs and he likes throwing sticks like a sensory thing. I noticed there was like a little mount on the left hand side, and I thought, that's interesting. And I've realised now it's a mount because there was a railway line there in the middle of it. So it was like a cut-in. So after looking at overlay maps, which is a very useful website I look at, Scottish overlay maps. Here it goes up a bit on the sides here. Here you start to see a little bit of a rise in the land. And it was here where there was a mineral line that went into the colliery that linked with that piece of land we're going to show you. Up here there was another line just over there, and we're going to go round there to show you in a second. But you can see again how it goes up on either side because it's an embankment, and that's why it goes a bit higher, because the railway lines were here. I can't find any old photos to prove what I'm saying, but because I saw the overlay maps, it proves I'm right what I'm talking about, and anyone who knows the area will know. And we're going to cut through. There's a cut through somewhere where I can show you that piece of land over there where there was another railway line. In fact, there was many lines in this area. I'm going to show you the spot where there was many. And as I say, we're going to follow one in particular, which is an old mineral line. Right, I'm going to try and get round this side. No, I can't, because that thing is still there. We're going to have to go... What we're going to have to do, we're going to have to go towards the pits and then come back in that direction so I can show you where the brickworks were. We'll do that. The lines we're going to show you in a minute were over there, and they came down there where the brickworks were, and there was many railway lines across here, too many to count. And they all went into the pits which were over there. The colliery was right there. Here, some of the railways bared left. Some of them went towards where the garage is now, which was the pit baths, and bared off to the left and went up that way. Other ones went straight through, which is where we're going to show you in a minute. And other lines went in that direction towards where the Midland Railway line, which went down near Lowmore Road, which we'll show you also in a moment. The brickworks were just behind that there, near that tree, a bit further down, which I'll show you, because we're going to take one of the mineral lines, more or less location, and follow it all the way down into the pits. That's what we're going to do in a moment. Babe, I need you to do me a favour. What? Can you spot any brickworks in a moment? I'll show you where. Or any parts of old sleepers and stuff, because my wife spots things that I don't even see. I'll walk past them and then she takes some amazing photos and I see them and I'm always like, babe, where was that? Hello?
Hello.
No kiss? So, let's carry on. Last time I was here, actually, it was a little bit more flat than it is today. It's good as, in a way, to see things happening here, as in wildlife growing still. It gets extremely though muddy when it rains around here. That's why we waited. I do know down there where the gate is, I do know there's some bits and bobs of evidence of the railway. And as I say, we're about now, we're going to go back this way where I was going to show you earlier. I was going to try and go across there, but I couldn't get across. Going to show you that bit of land there because the brickworks were around here. And there was some lines, there was even a little line, which I don't know if it was a tram or an actual railway line, that started here in the brickworks and then bared off to the Midland Railway, which was behind there, which we'll show you. That's the same Midland Railway where we started the video today, where I showed you where the sidings were, where the doctor is today. But we're walking now on top of railway lines, where they were. But we're going to head up there and show you what I was going to show you on the other side. Here's some bricks. There's definitely a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff buried though inside this land here. But this is the location right here where the brickworks were. There was various buildings here. I seem to can't find any old pictures, but I'll have a look again. Because you can't look for Kirkby pits or Summit pit, because that will show you photos of further down the other side. It doesn't show you where the brickworks were here. By the way, down here there's a route. That route goes back down to where we started when we came in the forest or the woodland, and that takes you back to the new estate. What do we have here then? This could have been something. No, this was more like a gate or something here. Doesn't look railway linked. Not too sure what that was, but it's got like a number on it, interestingly. Welbeck. And it's got an ant infestation. It's that time of the year. That's interesting that it says Welbeck on it. I wonder why it says Welbeck. So, somewhere here was a line that came down here and went into the works. The works was this area here. And then on the other side of the works, it linked back on to the Midland Railway line. Remember, the Midland Railway line was on that side. And the Great Northern Railway was down there, more or less where the Robin Hood line is now. You see, in the past, I thought that this bit of land here looked to me like a railway line might have come down here, but it didn't. It didn't. But the tree alignment would tell me as well, because we do look at tree alignments, not only walls. The tree alignment is where the Midland Railway went, down there. And we'll show you further down near where County Battery is now, where the line came through. Because it came through, crossed the road, there was a crossing there, level crossing, and then went to where Lamtech building is now, and all the way down there for another video that we'll do in the future, which goes the line all the way down to where Sutton Junction is, where there was mills, where there's factories, where there is actually now still the railway line that goes across. So that's interesting, because now there's no line there, but the Robin Hood line does go along that side and ends up actually coming out where the Midland Railway went, to Sutton Junction. All I'm going to show you now is where I couldn't get to from the other side. And people might be thinking, yeah, it's not that interesting. But it is, because if you remember ever working down here or being here in the past, you will remember there was 3 lines there and more. There was many lines there, but they ended around here. And I'm just going to show you the bit of land where they ended, and then I'm going to walk back this way. It's all very overgrown, which is not a problem. There was lines here going down, and they ended around here. This is where I tried to get through earlier, up there, but I couldn't get up there. There's a bit here, you can imagine a railway being through here, because it's heaps on either side, so it's a bit, you know what I mean, like an embankment there. It was direct right here, they would have gone across. So those of you who say, oh, you haven't done research, I have. You can ask my wife, actually. Let's ask my wife, yeah, how many hours I spend looking at old maps.
Loads.
Loads. So here's the other bit, which I think is quite beautiful to look at. I hope they don't destroy this kind of land, but they will, but end up putting something here. That's the bit there where I didn't come up just there. But right where we're standing right now, again, was the end of some railway lines, and these railway lines, mostly mineral lines or coal mine lines, they didn't link to the Midland Railway down there. They linked to the colliery where we're going now, but they were all around here, scattered about here. And it's a shame that I can't see any old pictures. Would have been nice to see old pictures, but can you see like another embankment there? That's the embankment I was on about here, because behind there railway lines went in that direction.